I came to New York for Fashion Week, and I remember like a bookings editor saying to me, "Oh, you would never put her on the cover." And I said, "I wonder why she said it in that way." And then I thought about it. I was like, I know why she said it. It's because it's not like she didn't look like Jennifer Aniston or, like what you would think of when you thought of like a Vogue cover. And I called my office and the editor at the time, this girl, Regina, and I was like, book her for the cover. We have to do it.
What I'd love for you to talk about is featuring the first indigenous Mexican actress on the cover of the magazine.
So that was pitched us in 2018 for the January cover, and it was Alfonso Cuarón's movie with Yalitza Aparicio. And when they first said to me, "Oh, let's do Yalitza," I was like, "Who is Yalitza? How am I going to put someone that I don't know on the cover and that no one knows? It's going to get like -0, Instagram likes or social views." And I came to New York for Fashion Week, and I remember like a bookings editor saying to me, "Oh, you would never put her on the cover." And I said, "I wonder why she said it in that way." And then I thought about it. I was like, I know why she said it. It's because it's not like she didn't look like Jennifer Aniston or, like what you would think of when you thought of like a Vogue cover. And I called my office and the editor at the time, this girl, Regina, and I was like, book her for the cover. We have to do it. We got a Mexican photographer, a Mexican stylist, and it was important that she felt comfortable with the team. She had never been photographed for a magazine. And this happened in October. It was for January, and we released it in December. And it was the most comments, website click that we had ever in the history of the magazine. And I think what it meant to do something so different in Mexico and so important culturally was just amazing. Like after that, I felt like, God, if I quit, it's okay. Like I've done something so important for not only the indigenous community, but I think the fashion and beauty industry in Mexico, because since then, I think there was a change in the women that were represented. When you in Latin America, I feel a lot of the times, even when it comes to fashion, everything, things that people buy and consume, it's almost as if American and European things are better. Just a clothing example, like, those, the huipil, the Mexican kind of dress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, a few people wore them, but then, a designer from Europe came, bought them, made them like super popular. And that's when Mexicans started wanting to wear them. Mm-hmm. Like it had to be better. Just everything European or anglicized was better in a way. Mm-hmm. And this kind of proved that was wrong, and that that beauty is so much more than what we had been fed in soap operas, newspapers, magazines. And I think the only reason I understood that a little more was because I'm Mexican American, because I saw that in the US there's opportunities for everyone. And in Mexico I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why it was so important.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love the success of that cover too. It gives me chills to hear that, and there's a source of pride, I would imagine, for everyone that saw that cover. And has that allowed you? Does that sort of open the door for new opportunities, new coverage, new, like, do you get pushback to this day? Have you seen an evolution in the responses you get to what you're pitching?
Not really. I got pushback on that cover. I remember. My boss at the time was like, "What's your plan B?" I said, "There is no plan B. Like, this is it. This is what we're doing." And I couldn't even believe that I was being questioned about a plan B.
Did you feel risk with that? Did you have any sort of fear with that?
I was more worried because I was worried that people didn't know who she was, not that she was the first indigenous woman necessarily. And I remember a friend of mine, also grew up in El Paso, texted me and said, "Thank you for putting someone who looks like me on the cover." And that, like, when my voice can crack every time I say that and think about that, because it not only changed things in Mexico, but I think for the Spanish speaking people in the US that didn't feel represented.